I am the managing editor at WISN TV, and a lot of people, see TV and they get to see people on TV. I'm not the person on TV. I'm the person behind the scenes. Managing editor, I like to say I manage content every day and manage people, but I also manage chaos. So anxiety is kind of my business. And all of the things that both of our speakers have talked about are things that I try to manage and navigate every day as a news manager in a really busy city where there's a lot of news happening every day. So just a little bit about me and my background. I'm from the Chicago area, Chicago suburbs. I went to Marquette University. That's how I ended up here. This looks like it's a little off-site, but that's okay. Came to Marquette and really didn't leave. I love Milwaukee and started working here as a student and left twice for two different television stations, but came back to work at Channel 12. I went to CBS in Chicago for a couple of years. I went to a little station in Green Bay for 1 year, but both times came back to Milwaukee and got a lot of different experiences along the way and always brought something back to Milwaukee. TV news, you guys get to watch what we do every day. So we don't really keep any secrets. Everything I'm doing in terms of serving the community is what you see on the news. And every day, our constituents, which are the same as many of, other government constituents and political constituents and hospital constituents and every other industry that you can think of, we are serving the same people. So, what we do every day is on television. Just a little bit of background on me and why I do what I do. I'm the daughter of a single dad. My dad was a social worker who turned into a police chief, and I grew up in a law enforcement household. And I watched public service in action, and I watched somebody live that service life every day. My dad was also incredibly transparent with media. He was frequently requested for interviews and had to give information and had to have difficult conversations with reporters in our small town, even in his small role. But kind of modeled that for me in terms of making sure that I was able to see him as a public servant talking to the public through the media. And that's really what we are as journalists, is we are the stewards of the community. And we want to share the information with our viewers, our constituents, our shared constituents every day. I am also married to a news photographer, a photojournalist. So we do have a lot in common. We have some really interesting arguments, but we have different roles, and we are raising two sons together. We have two college-age boys. I have one who is a senior at University of Minnesota and a freshman at the South Dakota State University. He's on a football scholarship, so I'm learning all kinds of new things. So in my role, I'm going to play some videos for you so you can watch a little television. You can see what we do, but we put it on TV every day. But in case you missed them, and some of the stories that I chose are things that we are using as examples of us holding the community accountable for different things, holding government accountable for maybe things that are, inequalities, or things that are inequitable, or things that are wrong or against the law, or things that could be better in the community. People turn to us. And when I say that, the kind of the overarching theme of what I was going to talk about is somebody needs to do something. And what I've decided over 30 plus years of doing this job is that I think sometimes, very more often than not, I'm the somebody. We are collectively as journalists, we're the somebody that people look to sometimes as the course of last resort, to get help, to get answers, to be heard. And a lot of people in my circles tell me, nobody watches the news anymore, Renee. Nobody watches it. People do. And you know who watches the news? People who are underserved, people in underserved communities, people who don't feel that they're heard. And we give those people voice. And we try to inform and educate, but we also give voice to people who don't have a voice. So I'm going to play one story for you and just set it up briefly. It came to us because we realized that there was a real problem in the community with people not having driver's licenses and not being held accountable for not having a driver's license. And what we learned in the course of our investigation is that the state and multitude of different reasons. There's always, as you all know, in your professional lives, there's many layers to different problems. And this problem is that police were stopping people that didn't have licenses over and over and over again. But because of the way it was like coded in the Department of Transportation records, they weren't being charged criminally. They were just getting tickets and going about their way. And in some cases, we've discovered that sometimes people can have 30, 40 tickets for the same thing, driving without a driver's license, and not being held criminally responsible and just being given tickets, and they're driving off. And so they're sharing the road with all of us. And that's why it was a concern to us. So I'm going to play one video for you. And do I just hit it again for the video to start, do you think? So this is a story. This is one story in a series of stories that we've been covering.
First at 6 at 12 News investigation has the Milwaukee Police Department in the hot seat.
12 News uncovered a flaw in state law that allows repeat offenders to continue driving without a license. Investigative reporter James Stratton was at City Hall today when council members asked tough questions of police leaders.
Across Wisconsin, drivers continue to get tickets instead of charges for not having a driver's license, some with deadly consequences.
I spoke to Chad Stark last night, who's the brother of Jason Stark.
Anastasia Harris had 6 suspension tickets and no license when prosecutors say she hit and killed Jason Stark, a newspaper carrier heading to work earlier this month.
Owe this file to James Stratton of WISN 12.
Council members questioned police about the loophole after a 12 News investigation.
So if I don't pay that first OWL fine and my status shows up as suspended, you're writing the suspension ticket.
Correct.
Is that wrong?
It's what we're required to do.
Police didn't start trying to fix it until we brought it to them.
Was the communication made to the FPC at that point?
No, it was not.
To the mayor's
What exactly? No, I did not.
Not to the council, because I sit on that.
To no one, because I myself had to understand the issue before I could speak to it to anyone else.
12 News has identified 4 recent deadly crashes involving drivers with no license, despite getting ticketed multiple times. But the law says they should be criminally charged on the second stop.
We have no idea how many people haven't been referred for criminal charges on a second offense.
Correct.
Okay, I see that as a problem.
Police say they're waiting for guidance from the DOT.
The work to fix this is underway.
Obviously, lives are at stake here.
Milwaukee police say they're working to meet with DOT to figure out if it's something DOT can quickly fix, or if lawmakers need to step in. DOT invited to this meeting today, but didn't show up. In Milwaukee, for example, James Stratton, WISN 12 News.
If you'd like to see any of James's previous reporting on this, including a request for...
Okay, so that's just one example. Another example of something that we get a lot of calls and emails, and we had many, many, many stories. If you'd like to look at them, you could look at our website, but there are multitude, and we are little tease into November. We have a story coming up in November that's going to follow up on all of this with some latest information, and it's good news. Another thing is, if you drive around Milwaukee a lot, illegal dumping is a really huge issue in many people's neighborhoods. Nobody's listening to them. The city doesn't listen to them very often. This is what they tell us. They call their aldermen. The aldermen are trying to get things done. So they call the news. Again, we're the somebody. We're good. Look, you're perfect.
I do pick up reading a lot. He's going to hear he's a plug view to investigate stories on the issue. Children the Big Four was invited to a first-of-its-kind meeting today, a community summit on stopping this.
And they created this meeting because of our reporting.
Surge in illegal dumping in Milwaukee community organizations are looking for solutions.
This is a huge ongoing issue.
Their letter to the city led to a summit today. The Department of Neighborhood Services is now spawning a pilot program that provides surveillance cameras to neighborhood organizers who want this.
The cameras are started this conversation, but really educating people about, what the significance of this is and how it's actually bringing down our community. I combated it by going out there cleaning.
Marie Beltran shared some recent cleanup photos. She likes the free camera gesture for enforcement, but she also has ideas to prevent illegal dumping, such as lowering fees to city dumps and reducing wait times.
If they could stay open longer, and also if they can come to the neighborhood and just leave a couple dumpsters.
Those combating illegal dumping say basically comes in 2 types. There's the household item like this, probably from an eviction. And then there's the contractors who maybe are renovating a house and dump it here to save the money.
It's gross. First of all, it's ugly. It makes you feel like people don't care about your area.
Why do you think it's happening? Because it's easy. It's easy to dump something somewhere else and make it someone else's thing. And there's not any accountability for it. You get away with it. People just know it. The city offers rewards to report illegal dumping, but the organizers hope this collaboration will stop illegal dumping before it happens. In Milwaukee, they forwarded WISN 12 days.
Residents can report illegal dumping to two city.
Okay, so those are a couple of examples of things happening in the city. The other thing that we often get a lot of calls about, where we try to intervene and try to help, is missing people, especially when people feel that they're not being heard by the police. And the police are busy. You guys watch the reckless driving, and our homicides, fortunately, are down, but sometimes shootings can be up. Police are responding to the most critical events, and they don't always have the staffing or the resources or the ability sometimes to respond to things. If you're missing a loved one, it's really important to you. And there might be a reason that that's not being done, but they very often turn to the news. So again, we're the somebody. So I'm going to play one story for you. We did many stories, but there's a story of a woman who had a cognitive disability. She's in her 20s, and she was missing for several days before the police announced it. But before that, she came to us for help. So we actually helped, and you'll see the result in the story. And then I'm going to play kind of a little epilogue to that.
Fort Worth investigates cracking down on illegal dumping.
Oh, sorry. There we go. This is it. This is the right one. Yep.
A Milwaukee family says it has no clues on the whereabouts of a woman missing nearly 2 weeks. The Queen Award is 36, working for family is cognitively impaired. The last place someone saw her was at Mitchell Airport with bags in hand. On the scheduled keys of flight at Mitchell tonight in Kendall. Those new clues are pointing Ward's family to another state.
Right there, Milwaukee Police confirming for us tonight. They have information that she might be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Her family tells me they're desperate to find her, saying she doesn't know anyone there. She doesn't have any money. She might not even have a phone.
From day one, I called her. I never got through.
Marcella Atkins sits next to her daughter, Andrea, without the family's third generation. Wednesday marks 2 weeks since Marcella's granddaughter, Laquita Ward, disappeared.
She's in danger.
Police say Ward was last seen September 11th at Milwaukee's Mitchell International Airport. With facts in hand, the 36-year-old's family says that she has a cognitive disability. Worrying them even Milwaukee.
It's Cross-Summer says why for the fund behind the store. Whatever the number her should be 2 eggs in a while where she only had 1 egg.
She has the mentality of a 14-year-old.
Laquita's disability is something the Atkins say they told police from day one. It wouldn't be until Sunday, September 22nd, 11 days after family filed a missing persons report, that law enforcement upgraded Laquita's case to critical missing.
She been back. She's placed herself in danger, and she's not even aware. And it's not having the help of the systems immediately has placed her in furniture.
Atkins said it took one detective taking a second look.
He said, why isn't this so critical? And I said, well, I wonder those same things.
Since the case was upgraded to critical missing, family says they learned that Laquita encountered police down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, back on September 15th. The nature of that encounter is still unclear, but it's the last time anyone's seen her since the Milwaukee airport.
We're just, you relying on our faith, first they died, and she might have been run back state.
Kendall Keith's back with us tonight. One of the questions we have, Kendall, is why the case?
Yeah, he's just asking about why the police didn't elevate it to critical, and they didn't have a good answer. And unfortunately, we exposed that, and we actually did a lot of other footwork and we called the Florida police. We tried to track her down. We tried to track down the police that talked to her. And I think some of our work, I don't think it's an overstatement or an exaggeration to say that the work that we did, 1, elevated it for the Milwaukee police, and 2, elevated it and made the people in Florida, in Broward County, Florida, aware of her situation. And there was a positive outcome. It took several days, but if you go to the next video, you'll see it'll only take 30 seconds to watch this. So, I have to go. Okay.
A Milwaukee family.
There we go. Oh, I just go one more. There we go. If you just hit play on that.
Milwaukee family was reunited with their loved one 2 weeks after she was reported missing from Milwaukee's Air Force.
Was that like for you? Great for the liquid as tourist syndrome. Previously, saying she operates more like a TV dome rather than an adult. The Turner Syndrome Society of the United States reached out to Channel 4, but after seeing our stories, they decided to purchase her ticket home, making that emotional read in hospital. We're thankful for a child's window. At this point, they ended a lot of their ways. We're just thankful.
WISN Club News, getting results for you.
So it's just, so it's our role. So we feel a great deal of responsibility. And the people that I work with and the journalists I work with are dedicated to the city. We live here. This is our community. We're community stakeholders. We introduce ourselves to our partners in the community, whether it's government, police, fire department, hospitals, social agencies, people like Hunger Task Force and Red Cross. We partner with them. We're community partners. And we take our role very seriously. And I think that just these few examples, the example was there was a problem and we helped with a solution. And that's why we're solutions based. And that's really what my goal is as a servant leader in the city of Milwaukee. I also lead in our newsroom and lead a team of journalists of almost 100 people. But it's multi-layered and multifaceted every single day to do television. But there is no job that I would rather do than to continue to serve in this capacity and be able to show every day on TV. And I hope you watch, I hope you look on the app, but you get to see our work. We lay it out every single day for the public to take in. So that is our role. It's our obligation in the community. And thanks for your time and thanks for listening.